Hey, I'm Chiqui Linguine and I've been dealing with anxiety for the past couple of years. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to stop your anxiety in its tracks. The first one is to think about numbers. Sounds weird, but it's simple enough. If you think about numbers, you cannot be thinking about your anxious thoughts. Your anxiety comes from your amygdala, and thinking about numbers comes from the prefrontal cortex. So the second that your brain starts, going and spiraling and you're thinking about all your crazy anxious thoughts, if you were to literally switch it over and just take a breath and think about 2 plus 2 or 3 divided by 6 or any of little simple math equations like that, you cannot be focused on your anxiety at the same time as you're doing those math problems. So your anxious thoughts would just kind of like subside and you're gonna be able to focus on the math problems. So finally, math serves its purpose. Think about math and you won't get anxious. The second tip is to smell something familiar. So that can either be, your perfume, essential oils that you keep on hand, coffee. So I love the smell of coffee. I don't drink coffee, but the smell of coffee to me is like intoxicating. I smell it and I feel grounded, I feel happy. So find something that works for you. But if you are in a pinch, try keeping essential oils on hand so that if you're out and about and you get overwhelmed or the anxious thoughts start coming in, you can just go to your purse and reach for your essential oils, take a little smell, take a deep breath, and let it just wash away. The third tip is to spell something backwards. So this one is kind of like a mental gymnastics game. Just like when you're doing the math equations, your brain cannot do 2 things at once. That's why whenever people say I'm a good multitasker or I'm multitasking, don't worry about it. You can't multitask. You cannot do 2 things at once. So if you're actively trying to spell something backwards, that takes brain power, that takes some focus, you cannot be thinking about your anxious thoughts. So literally just take your name, think about your name, spell your name forward, and think about how to spell it backwards. And then from there, go on to another easy word. But that focus is going to let you just hone in onto something other than your spiraling thoughts. And with all of these tips and techniques, it takes the discipline of doing the tip and technique. I know that I have been in a spiraling thought where I get anxious, and I know these tips. I know that if I clench my stomach, it'll go away, or if I, do some math problems, the anxiety and the thoughts will kind of slow down. But sometimes you're so into your anxious thoughts that you won't even want to stop to break it, to do something to get out of it. It's almost like, it almost feels good that you at least know that you're anxious, so you don't want to break out of it. And I don't know if you understand what I am trying to say, but that's how I feel sometimes. Sometimes I know that I'm in an anxious spot. I know that I can easily snap out of it, but it's easier to stay in the anxious thought. So do these techniques and actually try to engage in them so that you can break the anxiety and so that you can feel the relief that I know that you are able to feel. The fourth technique is the 3-3-3 technique, and that is to move 3 body parts, to find 3 things that you can hear, and to point out 3 things that you can see. So literally move your arms, move your fingers, move your head, and then try to listen out for 3 different things. Right now I can hear my humidifier, and it's pretty quiet in here, so I can hear my own self speaking. But 3 things that you can hear, and then 3 things that you can see, that you can visually point out and see. And then the last technique is to take a cold shower or a cold bath. And if you cannot take a cold shower or bath because you're out and about, to splash cold water on your hands and your face. So all the other techniques, the 4 before this, you can do anywhere because they're in your head, or they're, you could do it within yourself anywhere, in the car, you're out and about, in a party. But this one will require you to step out and go to the bathroom. But this one is if you're like really, really trapped in your thoughts and you cannot like snap yourself out of it. If you get really cold water and you splash it on your face, or you take that cold shower, you literally drop the water all the way to the cold, it will shock you so much that you will snap out of it. Those thoughts will stop, and it's because you're shocking yourself, and it's also activating your vagus nerve. which helps with your anxiety. So it's all connected. So if you were to do that one, it's the last one again, because you will need something. You need water. You can't just do it anywhere. You can't do it in your car. But this one is the one that's the most like shocking. It's the most snap out of it. So give it a try. If you've tried everything else and nothing seems to stop your anxiety, go to the bathroom, splash some cold water in your face, go to your ice bucket and fill in a bowl with water, and literally just stick your hands in ice water and it'll shock you out of it. And those are the 5 tips that I have for you. Think about numbers, smell something familiar, spell something backwards, do the 3-3-3 technique, and splash some cold water on your face. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I have new content like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.